Hi, I'm Lynn Wise, and with me today is Mark Fleming-Williams. Today we're going to be talking about Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to the UK. So Mark, as you have talked about, Xi has been kind of given the royal treatment, which is a little ironic given the chilliness between the UK and China. Can you tell us why his reception has been so notable?
Yeah, I wouldn't say chilliness may be a bit strong. They kind of, in a way, they just haven't really focused on each other for quite a long time. Having said that, there have been visits from UK leaders to China. Historically, the relationship has been quite tainted by the UK bringing up human rights issues in China and always kind of banging on that drum. This time, we're not seeing that at all. This time, instead, we're seeing the British rolling out the redder than red carpet for Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping has delivered a speech to Parliament. He is going to David Cameron's country house, Chequers. You know, they're getting the full treatment. And on Tuesday, I mean, we wrote a geopolitical diary just drawing attention to the fact that this is quite a switch from the historical relationship from, for example, the 19th century, which was when Britain was the rising power trying to open up China, and China was the sleepy empire, which was kind of stagnating. Now we have a bit of a flip side. We have the Chinese have just come off 2 decades of strong growth, and instead you've got Britain as the country in decline, coming off empire and trying to come to terms with that fact. It's been a long time coming to terms with it, but these things take time.
And what is Britain trying to gain with this treatment?
Yeah. So the difference, going back to that link, the difference is in the 19th century, the Chinese didn't recognize the fact that they were coming off, they were declining, whereas Britain very much knows it. And what we have is Britain trying to make the most of its relationships in the world, trying to reform what its relationship with the world is going to be going forwards. We've got an interesting moment, particularly right now, because the UK referendum on EU membership comes up next year. Well, next year or the year after. David Cameron, the Prime Minister, is made it very clear that he would like the referendum to go on the side of remain, for the UK to remain within the European Union. But it's not up to him. It's now it will now be in the hands of the public. So there is a risk that the UK may find themselves within the next 2 to 5 years outside the European Union. At which point they're going to have to start thinking about relationships with the rest of the world, if they're not already. So they need to be thinking about this in preparation for the worst case scenario. But there are also various ways that China appeals to the UK right now and everything that the UK is trying to do. So from the UK perspective, the UK economy is extremely focused on financial services. It's very reliant on financial services, particularly in terms of exports. And so that largely is centered out of London. And this vision for the future, for a future UK, has London being a global financial centre in the way that it is at the moment. But in order to continue that role in the world, it needs to be preparing itself for the rise of various parties. And China obviously has been growing like crazy over the last 2 decades. The renminbi, the Chinese currency, is internationalizing at the moment. London can be and needs to be an important center for that, and it is in position. It's been doing well on that score. We're also seeing London trying to be at the center of Islamic finance, rising as well as that places like Indonesia and the Middle East, as Islamic bonds become more prevalent. So this is all part of positioning London for the future, and China is an important part of that.
Well, and Xi has made several high-profile visits recently, and as it looks to see where to invest capital, is it receptive to the British need or want for this investment?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, from the Chinese perspective, there is definitely an appeal to Britain as well. This is a two-way street. The Chinese have got a lot of money, which is burning holes in their pocket. Historically, they've been putting that in the last decade, they've been putting that into places like Africa. it's not the most reliable place to invest. You don't necessarily get the best returns. The UK infrastructure investments actually are quite safe, and they are a good venue for the money. But on the other side, as I've already mentioned, the renminbi internationalization. This is something that China's pushing as well. China wants to be trying to get more global countries and transactions around the world being executed in Chinese currency, and London has a very important part to play for that as well. So this relationship, which historically has been potentially slightly at arm's length, is now beginning to really make sense from both sides. That they should be building a proper relationship.
Thank you. It seems like there are important and notable shifts going on in the global economy. So I know we'll be watching those closely.
Indeed.
For more on Europe and the global economy, please visit stratfor.com.